Very good morning to students. Welcome to class. Today we are going to study about structure of tooth. Okay, our chapter digestive system. Okay, was going on. So today's topic is structure of the tooth. Okay, we are talking about a single tooth. Okay, it contains enamel. The first layer of the tooth is enamel. Okay, what is enamel? Enamel is the hardest substance of the body. Hardest substance. It is more hard than the bone. Okay, so it's the hardest substance. This is the enamel part. Okay, enamel. Next there is dentine. The second part is dentine. This one is the dentine. Okay, this part is the dentine part. Dentine, it forms bulk of the tooth, means most of the part of the tooth is the dentine. Okay, it is the bulk of tooth and it is harder. It is also hardest. It is more harder than bone, but not more than enamel. Okay, less than enamel, but more than bones. It's harder than bones. Okay, next part is cement. Okay, the cement part is this. Okay, this part is the cement. Cement, why it is called? Because it's bone-like structure. Okay, it's bone-like structure to fix. It keeps the roots in the fixed position. Okay, it keeps the roots in the fixed position. Okay, so this part is the cement. Okay, and the last one is the pulp. Pulp is this part, the inside. The most inner part is the pulp. Okay, pulp is the connective tissue. It is the soft connective tissue. It contains blood vessels. It contains nerves. Okay, nerves which is directly connected to the brains. Okay, brain blood vessel which gives blood. Okay, it contains blood vessels. So the complete tooth is divided into three parts: crown, neck, and root. Okay, so this one part is crown, the upper part that contains enamel and the upper part of the dentine. Okay, next there is neck part. Okay, neck part. In this part, this part contains this middle part of the tooth. This is neck part, and the rest of the part is the root part. Okay, it contains cement and pulp. Okay, lower part of the pulp. Okay, so this is the structure of tooth. This is the structure of. Next topic is salivary glands. Okay, so salivary glands are those glands which produce saliva in the mouth. Okay, and saliva is very important. Okay, saliva has lots of functions. Okay, as it keeps our mouth moist. Okay, it helps in speaking. And it helps in swallowing the food. It acts as solvent for the food particle. Okay, it helps in mostly in the swallowing. Okay, swallowing the food. The salivary glands, first of all, there are three salivary glands. Okay, the first one is parotid gland. It is they all three are in the pairs. Okay, in pairs. That means two parotid glands are, and they located below the ear part. Okay, below the ear part. So one parotid will be at right and one parotid will be at left. Okay, then there is submandibular. Mandibular means jaw. Mandibular, the term mandibular is for the jaw. Okay, so two submandibular gland located below lower jaw at each side. Okay, one will be at left and one will be at right side of the lower jaw, and third one will be sublingual. So two sublingual glands will be there and they located below the tongue. Okay, below the tongue. So there are three salivary glands. Okay, now there is what is saliva. Saliva having the pH of 6.8. Okay, 6.8 pH, and saliva contains an enzyme. It is called ptyalin or salivary amylase. Okay, its name is salivary amylase. And what it what its importance is, it converts starch into maltose. Okay, you have observed whenever you eat any starch, like when we eat rice or when we eat chapatis, at last after chewing we feel some sweet taste. Okay, sweet taste just because of it converted into maltose, and maltose is the sweet sugar. Okay, that's why we feel the sweet taste of the rice, like for example rice. Okay, so xylene helps to convert the starch into maltose. Okay, next there is uh, functions of saliva. I have already told you what are the functions. Okay, it helps in the cleaning of mouth also. It kills the germs present in the mouth. Okay, now next there is swallowing and peristalsis. So swallowing means to swallow up the food particle which we are eating into the stomach. So for swallowing, what helps? Our mouth helps in the swallowing. Okay, when we eat food, we chew by the help of teeth, and by the help of tongue, we enter it into the mouth. Okay, we swallow it into the mouth. There is a in the back of throat, there is a hole called epiglottis. Okay, that is epiglottis. It's like a top on any pot. Okay, in Hindi we call it dhakkan. So that is that top that is called epiglottis. So by the help of tongue, we just close that epiglottis so that food cannot go into our nasal cavity. Okay, it just goes into the esophagus. Okay, esophagus and then the stomach. Okay, now what is peristalsis? After swallowing, the peristalsis occur. Peristalsis is the wave constrictions of the food pipe. Okay, wave constriction means there is a food pipe. It is made up of muscles, and it's made up of circular muscles. Circular muscles helps where in our body where we need to constrict or we need to contract anything. So first contract and then expand, then contract and then expand. So this is how esophagus do, and then our food particles comes down to the stomach. Okay, then what is esophagus now? Esophagus is the food pipe or the gut or the alimentary canal, we say gut, from mouth to stomach. It is called esophagus. Its function is to pass the food particle. Okay, food particle or the bolus. Bolus means the mass of or the ball of food particle we made in mouth and then swallow it. Okay, so in the ball form it goes into the stomach through the esophagus. Next there is stomach. Stomach is a bag-like structure. It's elastic in nature. Okay, it contains two ring, that means sphincter. It contains two sphincter. It having ring, some muscles. Okay, so the first sphincter, that is which open into the esophagus. Okay, it is called cardiac sphincter, and then another sphincter which opens into small intestine. Okay, after food, when food passes into the small intestine, it passes through this is called pylorus. Okay, pylorus sphincter, and it contains a layer of mucus, some very thick layer of mucus, and this lining secretes so many juices, gastric juices. These juices contains the HCl, okay, air, water, and mainly it release HCl, hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid helps in digestion. Okay, it mainly act on proteins. Okay, it break down the proteins into the simpler form. Okay, next there is stomach. Okay, two sphincter are there. Next there is gastric juices. What are the gastric juices? These which are secreted by this gastric juices. Okay, gastric juices contains water, salt, HCl, and enzyme. Okay, and an enzyme. Enzyme is pepsin. It contains pepsin. Okay, pepsin. Now and renin. Pepsin and renin, two types of enzyme are there. These are two very helpful enzymes. What do? They act on proteins. Okay, first of all, this pepsin is in inactive form, and inactive form is pepsinogen. Okay, pepsinogen is in inactive form. When HCl of this stomach, HCl act on this pepsinogen, it converts into pepsin and this pepsin is active form, and when food comes, pepsin breaks down the proteins into peptides. Okay, this pepsin break down protein into peptides. Okay, and one more, there is renin, prorenin. So prorenin is inactive form, and HCl act on prorenin and it converts it into renin. Renin is active form. Okay, so it converts into renin. What to renin? Casein. It converts the casein into para-casein. Now what is casein? Casein is milk protein. Okay, whenever we take milk, we get the casein protein, which is very hard to digest. Okay, so it's very important to break down this. Okay, so this renin act on casein and it converts into para-casein. Para-casein is simpler form of casein. Okay, so next there is, okay, so this food is still now in stomach, and for 3 hours it's remained in stomach. Okay, for 3 hours. This food is now called chyme. Okay, it is called chyme. After 3 hours, after some digestion, after some absorption, the food is allowed to enter in the small intestine through this sphincter, pylorus sphincter. The muscles of this sphincter get relaxed. Okay, and then it opens, and then food particle, that chyme, enters into small intestine. Okay, and then the sphincter get closed again. Okay, so the chyme food goes into the small intestine, and small intestine for a small intestine do digestion and absorption also. The small intestine is 7 meter long. Okay, the small intestine is 7 meter long and it's 2.5 centimeter wide. Okay, it's coiled and folded in the stomach. Okay, see, it's very long and it's coiled and folded in the stomach part. Okay, if this is stomach part, it is completely coiled. Okay, so small intestine have 3 parts. First part is duodenum, another jejunum, and third part is ileum. So most upper part is the duodenum. Okay, so duodenum is the most upper part. Bile duct open here. Okay, in this part the bile duct, that means the bile juice, bile duct open in this part. Okay, so bile juice secreted here. Then next part is jejunum. Jejunum is 2 meter long. 2 meter long. Jejunum means empty. That means most of the time this part remains empty after death of a person. Okay, if it is seen many times in the postmortems that jejunum part remains empty. Okay, when it dissected. Okay, third part is ileum. It's 4 meter long. It's twisted. Okay, and it contains lots of villi. What are villi now? Villi. So villi are the finger-like projections, in the small intestines. Okay, what it do? It increase surface area for absorption. Okay, small intestine. The main function of small intestine is the absorption, and these villi helps in the absorption. It increases the large surface area for the absorption. Also, the intestine part of the along with these villi, the ileum secretes some intestinal juice also. Okay, at this part the intestinal juice also secreted into the food. Okay, so this is the structure of villi. Okay, so it is covered by epithelium. Outermost part is epithelium. Here is the one. It contains a vein, an artery, okay, and capillaries. So arteries and veins get mixed and it forms capillaries, and there is a lymph called lacteal. Okay, lymph vessel, that is lacteal. Okay, so the small intestine receives 2 digestive juices. Okay, now digestive juices, they helps in digestion of food. So small intestine receives 2 digestive juices, which are they? One is bile juice and another one is pancreatic juice. Okay, so pancreatic juices are secreted by the pancreas. So pancreas lies above the stomach in the left hand side. So it secretes its secretion into duodenum. Okay, and bile juice. Another bile juice is secreted by the gallbladder. okay, formed by the liver, stored in the gallbladder, and then secreted into the small intestine in the ileum part. So about bile juice and pancreatic juices we will study in next session. Okay, so this is done for today. Thank you.